Hello and good evening. Welcome to Uncommon Conversations on Signature Television. We are reaching you from our studios in Enugu, Coal City, the capital of Southeast Nigeria. This evening, we're having a look at a critical topic in the economic development of the Southeast and of course Nigeria. We're looking at the chambers of commerce and the economic development of the Southeast. If you are familiar with the Southeast, you will know that at least there's a CIMA, which is of course the Enugu Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. And of course there's another one at Nsukka. But of late, we now have a brand new Chamber of Commerce, not very far from Enugu. And it's the 9th Mile Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. And I was just wondering, what is uncommon about 9th Mile? Why 9th Mile? 9th Mile is basically about, not up to 30 minutes from Enugu. About that. And so we'll be looking at economic potentials, the development benefits, and matters arising from this new Chamber of Commerce. And I have in the studio with me Surveyor Leonard Ugu is a surveyor. What is a surveyor, I believe?
Land surveyor.
Land surveyor. And is the president of the 9th Mile Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, NASIMA. Surveyor.
Good evening, Uche. Good evening, viewers.
Okay. What is the Chamber of Commerce? Actually, what is this?
Chamber of Commerce is an association of organized private sector engaged in business, commerce, and trade. It's purely for private sector organizations. Its primary work is to focus on the primary objective, which is commerce, trade, international relations, facilitation of businesses amongst organizations. And it is that organization that can interface with government and advise government on her policies in such a way that it will benefit both the private sector and government. In effect, it promotes economy. It provides ease of doing business, both for government and private sector. Thank you.
I'm familiar, very, very familiar with the Enugu Chamber of Commerce. It's been around for a long time. And I know you've been a very active member of ESIMA. And an offshoot of ESIMA is the Nsukka Chamber of Commerce. And now we have the 9th Mile, the NASIMA. Why NASIMA?
Okay. The Enugu Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture is a model chamber in the whole of Southeast Nigeria. As time goes on, we had Onitsha Chamber of Commerce, Nnewi Chamber of Commerce, Aba Chamber of Commerce. As long as commerce is growing within any area, there is need to have Chamber of Commerce. Just like in Lagos, Lagos has more than 10 chambers of commerce because of its large landscape of commerce and trade. Never mind that Lagos Chamber of Commerce is the modern Chamber of Commerce in the whole Nigeria, West Africa, if not the entire Africa. But as time went on, there was a need for all these other city chambers to come up. Okay. In the same way, Enugu has grown. Day by day, it continues to expand its landscape in commerce and business. And if you can see with me, 9 Mile is an economic hub of this Enugu state. You think of the industries coming up there, macro industries like Nigerian breweries, like the Pepsi, the Coca-Cola. Just of late that he folded and went to Aba. You have other big industries like aluminum, water plants. 9 Mile has grown more than being having a chamber of commerce. Last month or last 2 months, we inaugurated Mbise Chamber of Commerce. We have Olo Chamber of Commerce, and we have Owerri Chamber of Commerce. You think of Umma here, Chamber of Commerce, and Aba. The same thing if you go to Rivers. The Rivers has 4 Chamber of Commerces. So why not Enugu if we see 9 Mile as a very strategic place, positioned by nature as an economic hub that needs to be, its potentials to be tapped. There is free trade zone there. There is Lion Business Park there. And of late, just last week, we started hearing that the motor park spare pass is moving down to 9 Mile. And if you have all these businesses, why shouldn't 9 Mile Chamber of Commerce come to be?
Okay, we'll come shortly to talk specifically about 9 Mile or Nasima. But those who are watching this program, who may not be familiar with the activities of Chamber of Commerce. Tell us, what do they do?
Chamber of Commerce is bestowed with a lot of activities. In the first place, Chamber of Commerce facilitates trade, commerce, and industries. It facilitates. Chamber of Commerce is engaged in advocacy of how well commerce and business should be. It advocates the best way to do business, and it will favor government and the private sector in the form of taxations, in form of the environmental business. Chamber of Commerce ensures that entrepreneurship is facilitated. You think of all these artisans. You think of vocations. In this era of unemployment, large-scale unemployment, it facilitates entrepreneurship, vocations, and all whatnot. Chamber of Commerce promotes international trading with foreign missions. In fact, trade missions. It makes sure that her members can go outside in form of exhibitions, form of workshops and conferencing, where they can now relate with foreign partners. It is through Chamber of Commerce that you can attract foreign partnership, ensuring to them that there's ease of doing business within that location, that things will be favorable if they come. We ensure that government does not in any way promulgate laws that will negate ease of doing business. And that falls onto advocacy. And a lot of other things.
Yeah,
They equally advise government.
Okay.
On her boards, board memberships, to make sure that things are done the way it should be done, in line with rules and regulations governing that parastatal agency. So we have a lot of things to do.
Well, you said a lot, but I'm excited. I'm excited about one or two things.
Yes.
I'm excited when you talked about one of the pivotal functions of or activities of a Chamber of Commerce is to interface with government. Perhaps in the areas of development, I heard you talk about taxation and other things. Well, Nasima might be young, but you've been part of the Enugu Chamber of Commerce.
Of course.
So to what extent, if any, were Enugu Chamber of Commerce, and by implication, Nasima, consulted by Enugu State government in its current drives, one on taxation and two on the construction of motor parks? You say you're expecting one in 9th Mile.
Yeah, this auto spare parts.
And then, you talk about auto spare parts. And now, were you part of the consultation before the demolition that happened in Enugu happened? Or did you just wake up like other Nigerians and saw that demolition? As a critical stakeholder in commerce and industry in the state.
Well, I was a member of council in ESIMA. I rose to the position of vice president, specifically in charge of allocation, especially during trade fairs.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for about 4-5 years. So I wouldn't say that most of the things happening in ESIMA, that I wasn't part of it.
Okay.
Before the coming of NICIMA, the 9th Mile Chamber of Commerce, I was able to move out there, having come from that area.
How old is Nasima?
NICIMA is just a year plus.
Okay. So is it older than this government, in the current government in Enugu State? Or
Slightly.
Slightly older?
Slightly older.
Okay.
So, well, every government has its own methodology, its approach to issues. The government has just stayed 1 year in office, and we know what is happening in the country in terms of economic dryness. During the campaign period, ESIMA organized a town hall meeting with all political...
Yes, I was actually supposed to moderate one of the sessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was there they told us how prepared they were. And the present governor of the state happened to be the first person to appear. And he foreclosed. He told the public his plans, his master plan, how he intends developing Enugu State. And it's not far from that. We had a closed-door meeting with him and advised him the best way of carrying this.
That was ESIMA?
ESIMA, yes.
Okay.
And in fairness to him, most of the advices given to him by ESIMA were in line with what he's doing.
So ESIMA you could beat your chest and say you are part of the consultation.
I said during his campaign period, I would say that we contributed to most of the things he was doing during the campaign. You know, somebody will roll out his program. Then you can now advise. But what I want to know is whether he consulted with ESIMA now that he's executing.
Okay.
9th Mile is just
very young.
Just very young. Just about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that we paid courtesy call on the principal stakeholders of the government, most of the commissioners, like the Commissioner for Industry and Investment, Commissioner for Agriculture, the Chief of Staff. It was the former Secretary to the State Government that we paid courtesy call on. So I will not blame him much if 9th Mile is not consulted.
For now.
For now. But the one I know I'm talking of, that's in one way or the other, he consulted us during his campaign period when I was a member of ESCOM. But whether he consulted the present council, I wouldn't know.
Okay, you are president. Are you money alone?
In my own chamber?
Yes, are you money alone?
So what's the
structure? of Nasima?
Every chamber of commerce, we derive our structure from NASIMA, the National Association of Chamber of Commerce. It has its own format. You have the president, you have deputies, you have vice president, all with designated positions. And that forms the council. You have ISCO, you have council, and you have membership. So, and we are duly registered with NASIMA. In fact, personally, I'm an executive member of NASIMA, National Association of Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, somebody, a close friend of mine said you were part of the last AGM in Lagos.
Oh, yes.
I think he had an interaction with you.
Yes.
I won't tell you who he is.
So we are very serious about Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce is a movement. It's just like labor movement. It's not something you jump into the leadership. You have to graduate, learn the wings on how to fly. Therefore, NASIMA, Ninth Mile Chamber, is doing everything in consonance. We lay down rules and regulations of National Association of Chamber.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Maybe don't tell me you are young. I know that even at the National, at the Abuja Chamber of Commerce, they've been able to institute alternative dispute resolution centers, ADR centers. I know at the time when there were plans to start it in Esima, because for every industry, for every commerce, you're bound to have conflicts. And so from the National in Emeko Begelu, I think is the president of Abuja. But he's also the chairman of the National ADR Center of NASIMA. Okay. And so are you planning to institute this center, the ADR Center, in NASIMA?
Well, that we have city chambers does not isolate you from others. We have Southeast Chamber of Commerce, and our headquarters is domiciled here in Enugu. In fact, Esima gave us an office there. We have Southeast South-South coalition. So we all have collaborate a lot. Enugu Chamber of Commerce has a particular block they dedicated to this alternative dispute resolution.
Is it taken off?
Yes.
Okay.
If you get to the premises, it's just the other structure behind the main structure. You will see it there. It's inscripted there. So it sits quarterly, because we don't advocate for regular misunderstandings amongst organizations.
But if it happens?
That's what we're saying. Then the committee can call.
Okay.
So the office is here in Enugu, but it's being managed by the entire Southeast Chamber of Commerce, of which our president is Chief Ngonade from Nnewi Chambers.
Okay.
So Abuja being conspicuous as it is, we know Obegolo SAN is the head of that ADL and still coordinating that of the national. Here in Enugu, we have.
Okay. How many local government area? Okay. What's your area of coverage for NASIMA? Is it just 9 Mile? Is it just with the local government? What are the component areas that are involved in this NASIMA?
Well, the word 9 Mile does not limit it to Ngwo.
That's why I want to know. That's why I want to know.
We call it 9 Mile Zone. And this zone consists of Udi local government, Eziagi local government, Oji River, we can say 2/3 of Oji River, the municipality of Oji River local government, then Enugu North local government, part of it that spans towards Ngwo is still Enugu North. So within this radius is what we call 9 Mile Zone.
You think that's viable?
Oh, very, very viable.
Convince me.
Why it is viable is that if you now think of 9 miles, the kind of industries going on there. You think of cashew industry in Oye, is in Ezeagu. Even the Lion Business Park, 2/3 of her land is more in Ezeagu local government. Then you now think of the mega industry coming up at Ubnofianach. I think there are about 2 or 3 now coming up that axis. And you know that even Oji River municipality was made urban during the time of military. We have SME industries and MCAs, medium industries within that sphere. And if you add all this with the land mass, it's more than to be a city chamber area.
On paper or in reality?
In reality. In reality. I am telling you, 9th Mile remains the collection center for cashew business in the Southeast. The entire Southeast.
Okay. You just mentioned that a particular industry had just left 9th Mile and had moved to Aba.
Yes. And that's Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yes.
Was it politics or was it for economic reasons?
Well, I would say it's mainly for economic reasons.
So 9th Mile is not viable?
It was at the time the infrastructural facilities around 9th Mile was too bad. Their vehicles normally fall off into the ditch, the Ubonyama. They were having a lot of losses. Behind them, there was an ecological devastation around there, trying to chop into their premises.
Was it erosion?
Yes, erosion. There was erosion, serious gully.
And nothing was done?
And nothing was done. So with such threats, they felt that they were having a lot of losses. Every time, virtually every, from Upi down to 9th Mile was bad. From Ubonyam, Enugu municipality to 9th Mile was bad. And that of Onitsha was bad. It was just recently that all these roads were being rehabilitated. And we intend to meet the management so that they will be able to consider coming back. Their premises is still there. Everything is still intact. And with the kind of government we're having now, in fact, I don't know whether he read engineering, the way he focused his attention on rehabilitation of fiscal development, we know that we'll be able to assist whatever fears that company is having that moved them to Aba, that they will surely come back. I know for sure.
That's a very good, that's a positive note. Yes. Let me hope that happens. But let me just talk about something that is important. And when this flyer went out, someone asked me, please ask Salio. For too long, we've heard about the 9th Mile Free Trade Zone. 9th Mile Free Trade Zone. It's not for 1 year, not for 2 years. For pretty long, we'll be hearing about it. And each time I drive past 9th Mile, I'll be looking at where it is. What's the story about it? Because you mentioned as one of the key drivers of Nasima.
Chief Uche, I would say that 9th Mile Free Trade Zone has come to be.
On paper?
Why? The coming of Lion Business Park with their acquisition of 2,000 hectares of land, gazetted, with the structures coming on. Nasima has just written to His Excellency for us to convocate a conference on deriving the benefits of free trade zone, making sure that that thing on paper
translated
comes into being. All the foreign trips the present government is making in quest of investments is only free trade zone that can warehouse it. In fact, I came back from Ogun State and saw how they developed their own free trade zone with clusters of business parks, especially from China. And that will help the state a lot to come out of the woods. Rising from about 4 billion to 30 billion of expectation of this present government. The only way is to create an enabling environment which the free trade zone has provided. They have vast land spanning to Ezeago, to Oji River, to Udi. We have quite enough. Then you go up north of Udi, the Ebe, the Egede, and that's the only way this insecurity could be reduced. So, what I'm trying to say is that, yes, before now, before the coming of Lion Business Park, that was dormant. But it has woken up. And it's going to rise. And it's going to be, with the present government's quest, with the speed. In fact, one of the past governors described the present governor as Enugu State being construction site. Construction site in the sense that here and there you see construction going on. And I think we need to encourage him. We need to encourage him.
As president of NASIMA, what policies are you hoping to bring to bear on this young Chamber of Commerce that will make it uncommon, that will make it different from the rest? Because if it's just a routine business they're doing, is there something different you want to bring on the table beyond the normal duties, assignments of a typical Chamber of Commerce? Is there something new that Leo is bringing on board?
First of all, our foremost demand is that 9th Mile should be made an urban area. If you urbanize 9th Mile, there will be infrastructural development that will be in line with the way of doing business. The way things have developed there, haphazardly, randomly, unplanned, NASIMA is ensuring that this should be a formal planning. You just said that 9th Mile is about 30 minutes to Enugu.
It's not about 30 minutes.
Let me just take your word.
So
when 9th Mile is developed to that status, with the presence of MBL, with the presence of all these mega industries, you see that it will be a mega city that can even stand alone to generate economic growth for the state. There is an ICT village being developed around Egede, with the tile industries coming down around Obinofia Natch. When this is properly planned and harnessed, then the state will not be crying for lack of funds. Then secondly, with that free trade zone situated at 9th Mile, if industrial parks are littered there, then it becomes a training ground for unemployed youths. One of our patrons is just a retiree of African Development Bank. We want to harness the gains of African Development Bank in terms of grants, in terms of one-digit loan that can help farmers to grow their products. It may interest you that so many individuals are doing a lot of agri-industrial packaging for supply of packaged food items for African markets in Europe and United States of America. I know 2 or 3 people doing such things, Gary, the spices around Ezeago. And you know the water, the position in 9th Mile is not second to none. You don't treat it. And that's why if you're coming up from Ugonyama down to 9th Mile, you have left and right all kind of water industries springing up. So NASIMA wants to organize these people into a single purpose of how to generate economy.
Okay, that's a very positive.
And to generate employment for the teeming population of Enugu State.
Samuel, that's a very positive remark you've made. And with that, you hold your thought. We'll just take a short break. When we come back, I'll be asking you a lot of questions, like your relationship with the constituent local governments. Have you been able to, have a one-on-one discussion with the local governments you mentioned? And then what is your relationship with the Soka Chamber of Commerce and ESIMA? Do you have exchange programs? Just while you think about that, we'll just take a short break. Don't go anywhere. You are still watching Uncommon Conversations, and of course, we are still reaching you from our Cool City studios in Enugu. Of course, as always, Enugu is the capital of Southeast Nigeria. And my guest is still Surveyor, Land Surveyor Leonard Ugu, who is the president of Night Mile Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, NASIMA, a very young chamber of commerce. Before we went on break, I said I was going to ask you to talk to me and talk to those who are watching. What is your relationship with the component local governments? You talked about a chunk of Enugu North, you talked about Udi, you talked about Eziago, and you talked about the metropolitan Uji River. This is a catchment area, and I'm tempted to agree with you that a lot of industries, a lot of businesses, concerns are springing up around this zone. But of course, they're landlords.
Thank you.
So what's the relationship with them?
Thank you, Mr. Uche. Our relationship is very cordial. Cordial in the sense that we started from ESIMA. Before NASIMA was registered as a city chamber, Enugu Chamber has to endorse. The entire Southeast city chambers have to endorse before it went to Abuja and duly registered with corporate affairs. When we came back, fully recognized, because we are recognized at Aba inauguration of the national president in 2022. That was why I said it started in 2022. The first place we went for Costical was Udi local government. We paid Costical on the mayor of the local government, and he embraced us.
Like he's your landlord?
That's the first and foremost.
Okay.
We went to Eziago. Something happened that day we couldn't meet him on seat. Thereafter, there was this election. We participated in the town hall meeting at the ESIMA. They called all of us, both Nsukka and us, to join them in having that town hall meeting. I've told you we paid Costical on all the elected members from this constituency. We paid Costical on the Speaker of the House of Assembly, who is representing Udi North. We paid Costical on Chimo Obieze, who is member representing Eziago. We paid Costical on the majority leader from Enugu North. Then we've scheduled to see the House of Reps representing Oji River, Ezeago, Udi. Then and that of the senator representing Enugu West. We've all written all these letters and we exchange. It's just a matter of time that they have not gotten time to see us. So there is a perfect relationship, good relationship existing. And like I told you, Nsukka didn't just wake up and start their own. It was blessed by Enugu. We didn't just wake up and started our own. It was blessed by Enugu. At the inauguration of the president of Nsukka Chamber of Commerce, I was the one represented the national president. In fact, I was the one that inaugurated him on behalf of the national president, Deloye. Most of the things happening at the Souteast, Salt City of Ebonyi, I was equally part of the team that went there. So there's a correlation existing amongst city chambers. We all know that it's just like when we had Eastern Region, later Central States, later Southeast States, and we're asking for more. It's just the same in chamber movement. So, but we cannot move in isolation from all that.
Well, you just explained human relationship, and basically, I think I need much more than that. Relationship could be physical, it could be developmental, it could be human. Yes, the human angle you've done. You paid courtesy calls, and then you made visitations, and you had interactions. I want to go further to talk about relationships in terms of infrastructure, because when you are making your opening statement, you talked about why the Kwekala left. That has to do with poor infrastructure around the area. So I'm now asking, the other is land allocation. Because if you want to do business in 9th Mile, you just can't do it on air. Land has to be available. The land tenure system, the land allocation system, then taxation. If you have multiple taxation, state, local government, and all that, that would certainly discourage people from trying to do, so the ease of doing business. I want you to look at the relationship in these perspectives. One, infrastructure, because that's the relationship. You are saying we need water, we need road, we need this to attract people. We need a favorable land allocation policy to attract people, because if I want to invest there, I can't do it on my head. I need the land. So do we have a landing permit, so to speak, to do business in that area?
Uche, if you are current with the happenings in Enugu State, you see that the present government is tackling virtually everything that is hindering business coming into the state. There's this land grabbing law passed into law just recently. There were 4 bills passed into law by the Enugu State government just about a month ago. One is on land, to forestall these middlemen, frustrating people from getting allocations, and re-engineering the lands ministry that you can get your sea of road within a reasonable time.
At what cost?
Well, they say good soup, na money maker. You have to pay for the good services. Excuse me, you have to pay for the good services. The important thing is that if you file application, will you be able to get it in good time? We have engaged the investment agency, development agency, manned by Barrister Obumud, and they're streamlining a lot of things. In fact, just this afternoon, I got a letter that is constituting a very powerful committee on ease of doing business, and His Excellency will be the chairman of that committee. He just came in this afternoon, and the entire 3 city chambers were recognized. We are members. The Enugu, the Nsukka, and 9th Mile. The all related commissioners, ministries, they are members. And if His Excellency will be the chairman of such a committee, you know they are very serious about that. Then on the availability of infrastructures for us to kickstart. If you have been to Lion Business Park, if you have been to that place, you know that there is a facility for us to kickstart. because they are part of us. All the industries in 9 Mile, they're all part of 9 Mile Chamber of Commerce. And they've agreed that we can be using their facility until we get ours. We have just applied for land. These things cannot be done overnight. We've paid call on the Nigerian breweries. They hosted the entire council. And they showed brotherhood the day we came. So we have hope that 9 Mile will grow. And we grow more than expectations. We have just booked an appointment with the tile industry at Obnofia. These are mega industries. Which all these big states, like Ebonyi, Anambra, when they were created, there were no offices. There were no infrastructures. But today, go to Abakaliki and see what it is. Go to Oka and see what it is. So 9 Mile being the youngest, we are very much hopeful that we grow to the surprise of many.
I agree with you.
In terms of generating economy.
Okay.
In fact, most of these industries I'm talking of, do you know how much is contributing to the IGR of Enugu State? And when it's well organized, there is infrastructure, because we are advocacy organization. We are drumming to the ears of the government that these are the things you should do. Remember that it's not 9 Mile that constitutes Enugu State. But we
I'm just talking about the viability of the Chamber of Commerce.
But we are saying that there will be a lot of produce, agricultural produce, ICT. The Dr. Ife, a land that is consulting an ICT village. If that comes into being, there will be a lot of money.
Is that the one about Obioma?
No, not Egede.
Okay, Egede.
Up there, with the north. And a lot of other things coming up. And we think of housing. When these industries come up, where will they live? That's why the first thing I'm aiming at, as a land surveyor, as former president of International Right of Way, the first thing I was aiming at is making sure that 9 Mile becomes an urbanized. So that the capital territory can move in. It's not just collecting revenue. Like the swimmer, they have office in 9 Mile. Every office in Enugu has a sub-office in 9 Mile collecting revenue.
Okay.
So some of this revenue you are collecting should be in turn used to develop 9 Mile. That's what we're saying.
Okay, I have just one question that has been itching my mind.
Okay.
A company, XYZ, has just been registered. Tell me one compelling or 2 or 3 or 4 compelling reasons why I should register with Nasima.
Oh.
What, a must reason. What I stand to gain, what I stand not to lose by being a member of Nasima. Because for all this, companies have to register with you, industries have to register with Nasima, yes, for you to be a strong. So I just said, I've registered a new company, and I'm thinking, where should I go? Tell me one reason I should come to Nasima, or 2 or 3. Any reasons that's convincing?
First and foremost, you have to know your environment. And the Chamber of Commerce is an organization that houses other private sector organizations. And as such, you have to familiarize yourself with the environment, with other members already existing. You need contact, networking. Then depending on your product, is it local? Is it foreign? If it's local, 9 Mile is endowed with natural resources. Is it water? Is it agriculture? Is it network road? Remember that it is a bypass. For you to go to the north, it is a bypass to the south, a bypass to the city. It is naturally located. Then you need international partnership. It is only through the Chamber of Commerce that through the trade missions, that you can go out for exhibitions, for partnerships, for B2B business meetings. It gives hope to see a foreign company that is doing the same with you, that you can partner with. It creates an avenue for you to see one-on-one. Then for advocacy, you cannot talk to government alone. You need a body, a credible body, to talk to government on your behalf. You can't do it alone. And the only body recognized by law, by convention, is Chamber of Commerce, to talk on your behalf. This issue of multiple taxations, that is the prime work of Chamber of Commerce. Limiting local governments within the ambit of their own law, and state government, and even federal. In this minimum wage discussion, Chamber of Commerce was represented, duly represented by her 2 members. For you to know how government recognizes us. Then if you are doing well, it becomes a platform for you to export your produce. We're talking of agricultural produce. We're talking of a cashew, palm oil, which is the national designated product for the Southeast. Therefore, if you an industrialist that has just come on board, no person will ever tell you or convince you. You don't need any magic to know that you should belong to Chamber of Commerce. Then it depends on your location. If your office or industry is located within the municipality, then you belong to a SEMA. But if it's around 9 Mile within the zone, no person will tell you to belong to 9 Mile Chamber of Commerce. If it is Enugu North, Nsukka, you belong. These things come closer to you. If you are resident at Nsukka, for you to travel from Nsukka to Enugu to attend meeting, you know what it costs, both in security and infrastructural decadency along the road. So it's better for you to start at Nsukka. The same thing, 9 Mile area, you stay at 9 Mile. From Oji to 9 Mile, you know, it is quite easier with the express. Then the municipality towards Emene, they can manage that. Remember, it's a coalition. We all come together through the Southeast Chamber of Commerce, where we share ideas, experiences, and intervene in any problem each of the independent city chambers is having.
Okay, good explanation. If that company wants to belong to NASEMA, what is the process, or what are the process for admission?
Very simple.
Or do I just walk in and because I have a research company and VAM, I'm a member?
One, Chamber of Commerce does not need number. It needs qualitative member. You must be registered with corporate affairs.
Okay.
You must be a limited liability
Company.
Or a professional. A medical doctor can register.
So you have corporate membership, then you have individual membership.
Individual membership.
That's what I wanted to know.
So corporate membership, you must be registered with CSC. You must submit your shareholding. We see how it is formatted. We need your bank account to know whether the liquidity.
We know your contract.
No, we want to know the quality of that person coming in.
Okay. Yeah.
Then if you're a professional member, an individual, we need to have your certificate of registration as a professional. Then we need the due diligence.
Like a broker journalist now.
Yes, we need the diligence.
So what do you want
to know
what do you want from me?
Whether he's an obedient member of that profession, whether he's coming in to disintegrate us or to unite us.
Okay.
So these are the due diligence that we need to do. Then from there, you take off. Why I say that, in as far as we need membership, that it's not just everybody's come. We need qualitative people. We need serious people. We need serious-minded people. Before you can be on your own, you must be a serious-minded person. If you don't work, you don't eat. Therefore, you have to be waking early in the morning, getting to your office, working lately to make sure that it's not like civil service.
There's a flip side to 9 Mile. It's not human. Some in terms of I don't know why, whether it is natural, or whether it is human, or whether it is supernatural. 9 Mile seems to be prone to a lot of accidents. Whether you are coming down Ugoyama, or whether you are descending from the roundabout, going towards Abo and towards Nsukka, before you just do a detour to the left. I don't know. Sometimes when I used to go to Nsukka, as you come, you see one big trailer that just entered into somebody's shop. I know it may not be in your purview.
Okay.
But it's a serious concern.
Okay. Just yesterday, I was in Urban Radio, and I talked about that. Canvassing why state government should come without hesitation to urbanize 9 Mile. Everybody wants his business to be along the road. There's no plan for expansion. And if there's a sectoral planning of 9 Mile, the timber people, the meat people, here and there, and into the hinterland, not just along the road, the accident will just come to almost nil.
So what you're saying is that you need speedy urbanization.
Urbanization and replanning of 9 Miles. So that there will be less commerce along the roads. Then if you get to highway, like Ugonyama, it has been in my blood that we need a frustration. I went to Rwanda and saw that Rwanda is a hilly environment. But they plan for it. You cannot live in such a place without tree planting. Today, I don't think if you go to the Ministry of Forest or the Forest Department, that you may see up to 5 people, because there's nothing they are doing. The entire milking hill value have been defrustrated. And I wonder the hope of any person living around that place. Then along the Ugonyama, there's no tree. When that road was newly built, there was tree. It was a line of trees along. If the Englishman who constructed the milking hill knew that he should plant trees along the edge of that milking hill up to the up and down of it, that time there was no motor accident that rolled down the hill because the tree would block it.
It had to act as a wedge.
It acts as a wedge. But today there's no tree, both along the express or along Milking Hill. And that is telling much about us. Every road is bound to be having an accident. But how devastating it is the So I am encouraging the state government to come back to our frustration. One is that it is economical. There's a tree planting now that we need to borrow. If they like, they can consult us. The tree, under 4 years, it has grown to maturity. And the tree you use in pulping, paper industry. And if you cut it, it will sprout up. It will just come up again. So it is too economical that even the state need to enter into that. If all the hills of Ugonyama is planted that tree, within 4 years, because it matures to economic value. And at the same time, an environmental beautification of that area.
On that very positive note, Surveyor Leonard Ugu, I want to thank you for finding time to be here on Signature Television. This is not going to be your last. You've raised very important issues that we need to discuss in the future conversations. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Uche Cyril and Oke.
And to our viewers, my guest has been Surveyor Leonard Ugu, President of NASIMA. Join us same time tomorrow for yet another interesting edition of Uncommon Conversations. Thank you for watching.